Can you pump up the volume, Jared?
You betcha.
There we
There
go.
we go.
All right. I like it. Cool. So I guess we're going to talk about names today, aren't we?
Yeah. Do you want me to, I guess let's get the music going.
Let's do it. We got the time. We got the money, honey.
Yeah, we
We're
got
ready.
the time.
Oh, dude, I don't know about you in Ferndale, but we've had some crazy storms. I still got those videos. I'll have to post them on our Instagram because I'm sure you saw that storm video. I see you peeping my gram, Jared. I see it.
I saw it.
I seen it.
Sorry, I had to take the microphone away. You can't talk to me.
That's fair.
And then just let me. It's like you're like my
your dentist. Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the Untranslatable podcast. And today we are doing a very special episode. We are doing an episode all about names. Today we're going to try to focus on names more so in the United States, I think it's safe to say. But, we're not going to limit ourselves completely. And I'm sure we'll have some other name episodes coming out in the future as well. But we thought it'd be fun to talk about some origins of some names, some funny names. I also am very interested in talking about stigmas with names because as someone named Chad, there is definitely a stigma here or there. So yeah, we're going to get into names today, unpack some of that goodness for all of you listeners out there. So we hope you enjoy what we have in store for you today. So without further ado, my partner in crime, my good buddy, and my amazing co-host, Jared. What's going on, Jared?
Hi, Chad. Yeah, let's unpack that. Let's circle back and unpack that and really get down to the nitty-gritty. I hate that term, unpack that. Also, another term I hate?
What?
Piggybacking on what that person... I hate it when someone says that.
Oh, I'm going to start saying that now on the pod all the time.
Piggybacking on what that person said.
Piggybacking on what you just said there, Jared.
How about you just have your own thought or shut up?
Right. It's like I saw a meme online that was like every college online discussion forum. It's like, I think this, and then the person comments and they're like, yes, you have the right thoughts. I agree with what you think.
That's very true.
Right.
That it's just like, no, I like that too. I'm with that. What they said.
Mm-hmm.
Please,
piggybacking on that.
Piggybacking on how annoying it is to hear something over and over again. Please follow us on Instagram, Untranslatable Podcast.
You betcha.
Oh shit!
Spread a little love.
I had a brain fart. You can also follow us on Twitter, Untranslatable1, the number 1.
Numero uno.
You could also hit us up on YouTube. We're on YouTube in that glorious 1080p. You could see the great background. I love this background. Every time I'm editing the video, it makes me happy to even see it again. It's perfect.
It's nice. We're lucky. We're in the shade today.
And today's a good day because it is super sunny, but it's not
it's warm
yet. It's probably still early. It's probably still early. This is good. I like that we started early. And please, everyone,
Пожалуйста.
5-star reviews. We have so little to live for. But those 5-star reviews put a smile on our face, or subscribing to our YouTube channel. I like that too. I don't tell Chad when that happens. I keep that for myself.
It's a secret. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know numbers, so it's not like I can go and look at our YouTube channel.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even think about
numbers.
that.
Yeah. But speaking of YouTube, that's right. That was a great joke there, Joe. Speaking of YouTube, we want to give a special thanks to Zach P. for coming on our channel, coming on our podcast.
Yes.
Depending on when everything's said and done, either before or after this episode, it's safe to say. So check that out. He was a great guest. We're very happy to have him on. It was interesting to hear his experiences about life in China a little bit, and you guys talking about Formula One was cool because it was kind of... I always enjoy watching you nerd out a little bit.
Yeah, I don't have any Formula One friends.
Right. It's like when we invite music people or guitar people on the podcast. For me, it's a good time to nerd out a bit.
Yeah. No, it was fun. I enjoyed it. And it did help with some stigmas I had about China personally. Mm-hmm. And it was also nice to hear... from another foreigner's perspective on living in China, that because I hear a lot from you, but then it's obviously it's easy to because your perspective is so much yours. Maybe you miss something that he might mention,
right?
And it's like, oh, that's interesting. I never thought about it that way, or I never heard.
Well, and he has a lot more experience in China than I do too. 3 years over 6 months is pretty significantly different.
That's a good point. I also love listening to people that like got up got up, that left their country and that decided to leave their country, because it seems like he made a not conceited, but like
conscious effort. Yeah,
it wasn't.
I mean, you have to. I mean,
guess so.
All the visa stuff.
That's
I mean,
true.
that's
You
why.
can't- it
That's
can't be an
why.
accident.
I was supposed to go to Shanghai come August, and I doubt that's going to happen. Well, actually, I know it's not going to happen, but we can talk about that later. We're here for the pod, not for work. But yeah, it is interesting, and I think the nice thing is too with Zach is he brings a lot of foreign experience as we do as well.
When you see recent news and stuff, is there anything that makes you even more eager to go to a different country, or is it mostly just for personal work related stuff?
A lot of it's work. I've been really looking for work here. I've gotten offers that are like not related to teaching, but to be honest, Jared, I would much rather take a teaching job or a virtual teaching job right now, because that's my training, that's my experience, that's the career I want to build for myself. But there's not a ton of work right now in the States, and because I'm not licensed to teach in like a middle school or high school, that narrows the field even more. So
there's been a lot of talk in our house about, I guess, kind of about the American dream. Think back onto our last episode,
right?
And how lately, and not even lately is more just high awareness of it, but like we never really have the sense that we belong or feel comfortable living here. Like my partner's been talking about, like it's been hard for her to run because she feels uncomfortable sometimes, and a little part of me is like, I mean, there's no way we can avoid racism or fear or something like that. Like at some point, obviously that's unavoidable. But I think there is a solid point to be made that we can definitely avoid the fear of police brutality and the fear of police intervening on your life all the time. And we've talked about going to different countries and stuff. We're like, what would that be like? But I think now we're kind of serious about it. I think.
Where would you go?
So far, top of the list is probably like Germany.
Okay.
They have a visa, some sort of 6-month visa. I can't remember what it's called.
And you can look for work, right?
Yeah, and it's specifically for like college people, like college graduate, professional kind of people. And I don't know if I'd want to that's not how I want to find a new job, because obviously I would I would rather
have the
find
job
a new job
lined up
while I have a job.
Right.
And I'm not in any sort of real rush or anything, but it seems like we're getting to a point where it's more of a serious consideration, because anytime I guess I've thought about it before, I'm like, oh, there's so many barriers and stuff like that.
Right.
But if you actually make a conceited effort, it seems like it's very possible. Like it's not a
conscious effort, but
yeah. It's not like a difficult task to. It's not easy, but it's very doable, especially if you find certain countries like Germany that are welcoming to that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the key with Germany, there's just a lot of steps. I mean, with most visas, I will say my experience is Czech visas and work permits in the Czech Republic are a bit easier to obtain. It's just less paperwork, less. I don't know. I remember for us, our Austrian visas, well, you did a visa. I did an Aufenthaltsbewilligung, which is a residency permit, and that was way more complicated.
But it was very doable.
Right. It is. It's possible. But I think the interesting thing, too, with you is, like, that's if you were to just say, F it, I'm going to Schland, I'm going to Deutschland, and just going to look for work and find a job. I think you probably could land something good. With your experience and your skills, you could. But that's such a big... You're jumping into the deep end. You know what I mean?
But how else would I do it?
Try to land a job before you go.
That's my plan.
Right.
And I mean that's
what city? What city would you pick?
I mean, I'm not really basing it off of cities. Now, obviously, there are cities.
Cologne.
There are cities that interest me more than others, but obviously, a lot of it's also based off of the job offering kind of thing. But cities that do sort of call my name a little bit, just based off of not even experience. Some of these cities that call my name, I haven't even been to. Cologne is interesting, obviously. Dusseldorf, I'd be happy to go back to.
It's a cool city. Have you been to Heidelberg?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
I haven't. I didn't travel a lot through Germany when I
beautiful.
lived in Germany, because my parents were big fans of France, and we lived in Dusseldorf, so France was pretty close. So we actually went there a lot more for like sort of short road trippy trips than we would throughout Germany.
Can we one day, either you and I, or you and I and our ladies, depending on, where we are and what's happening, can we do a Germany trip someday?
I mean, I'm okay with that. Yeah,
Because we did the Berlin, Czech Republic, Germany trip.
I would
be
love
fun.
this was part of the consideration when I was going to do my Europe trip a few months
ago.
Was
Yeah.
one of the considerations before we settled on what we settled on, which was stay home.
Right.
Was to do a road trip through like Netherlands and part of Germany and maybe part of France as well. Like start in Paris,
Right.
and sort of just hit up some nice cities in Germany and in the Netherlands was one of the considerations. But it seemed like the headache of having a car.
It's a lot of work over there, yeah.
And it's not even the driving part because, but it's the parking because every place, especially if you go to a major city, parking would be
Good
some
luck.
sort of headache. But anyway,
It's expensive, yeah.
Dusseldorf, Cologne, I say those like that because they're pretty close to each other. Those are areas I'd consider, or Bonn maybe, for a cheaper housing, but then maybe work in one of those cities.
Right.
Or I guess Cologne
It's
would
not
be,
a bad
would be
choice,
closer or
yeah.
something like that. Stuttgart interests me for some reason.
Beautiful city. Pretty expensive, though.
Not as expensive as Berlin. We
Really? Because Berlin used to be cheaper, but I've heard it's got more expensive.
Well, I guess I'm not an expert, to be honest with you. I've looked like twice on some, and I haven't even looked. I've looked over the shoulder of, so I'm
Okay.
I'm no housing expert by any means. But Stuttgart interests me. I thought it would be, but there's also probably more access, not more access, but there's probably good access to like suburb, but easy access to the city living. So like
Stuttgart, yeah.
So like when I
definitely.
was in Dusseldorf, I didn't live in Dusseldorf. I lived in a suburb called Meerbusch, but it was a 20-minute, if that, train ride to
Right.
the center of Dusseldorf.
Mhm.
So that's also sort of what I think in my mind when I think of these.
That's the
these
nice thing
places.
about Germany, though.
Yeah.
Is being able to do that.
Yeah, you can be slightly outside of the city, but not have to worry about getting on like a real train. Like you could do
Right.
your standard public transportation. That's my thinking, because I also, I'm an American. I like space, so I do like the idea of having, not living in like a IKEA example at
Right. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
having a little bit more space than an IKEA showroom kind of
Oh, absolutely.
room. But at this point, it's more just I don't want to even say rumination. I feel like we're pretty committed to trying to figure out if we can make this happen, but I'm not saying goodbye to you anytime soon. Obviously,
Right. It's probably going to be a while. I think it might not be till 2021 when things really are.
Well, that's the
open
thing.
up.
Also, just in general, job wise,
Right.
this is probably not the greatest time. I have looked.
Tell
a
me
little
about
bit.
it. Tell me all about it, Jared.
I have looked a little bit, but also I want to. I don't know. There's no reason for me to like not be picky at this point because I'm not going
Right.
anywhere anytime soon.
Right.
So everything I see, I'm like, I mean, I guess I could do something like this, but I don't know. Do I want to work for a furniture company? And
Right. Probably not. Most likely not.
yeah, but I don't know. I feel like I'm getting closer to that feeling of
Right.
of that. I could see it's funny too because I always pin that on you,
Mhm.
but I'm starting to feel like I could see myself. living in a different
even for
country.
a couple of years, I think it's worth it. Couple of years and then come back.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea. That's kind of
I mean,
where
I guess
I'm
I've
at
done
with
it
things.
before.
Right. Exactly. But yeah. Well, speaking of Germany, though, Jared, I think it's time that we
You want to
got a shout out.
Spread a
Yeah.
little
Yes,
love.
sir. So my shout out today goes out to Germany because they have actually donated a significant amount of money to the World Health Organization.
okay.
Kind of interesting. So Germany will increase the financial support for the World Health Organization during the corona pandemic this year, and more than 500 million euros. They'll invest
That's a lot of
more
money.
than five. Yeah, that is a lot of money. But I think that's really smart. I think if you look at the way Germany has handled things right now, I think they're in pretty decent shape.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of friends in Germany, and they seem to be doing pretty well. And so shout out to Germany for that. I think,
So money. That's making it rain. Shout out.
right, no kidding.
And I really don't understand where people get off, saying that like the masks and stuff is BS.
Right.
Because it's like what do you know? Like I don't understand why we should just be listening to your local weirdo
Right.
at the grocery store to tell. It's like, why would I listen to you?
Right.
It's like you're telling me that all the news is fake, yet you're the one that has all the answers.
Right. And
It's-
everyone else, I mean, I know this is kind of the sheep thing, but I mean, if everyone else is wearing a mask, it's probably for good reason.
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah.
But, hey. Anyways, should we get into maybe
Yeah,
some...
we can do some untranslatables.
All right. Well, in honor of our previous guest, or maybe following guest, Zach, I have a couple Hungarian untranslatables. I wish he was here again because it was helpful getting his corrections.
It really actually made me self-conscious about how much I mess up everything.
Oh, we
say.
mess up all the stuff we say for sure. But that hopefully, that's some of the fun in it, Jared. All right. So my first one for you is Maid Hapiros Ho Esik, which means when red snow falls.
When red snow falls.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds super ominous and kind of violent.
I don't think it's ominous or violent.
When is that like when pigs fly?
There we go. Good
okay.
work. Yep.
I'm not a Game of Thrones fan.
Right.
But that does definitely had some Game of Thrones vibes.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. Makes sense though when red snow falls.
Isn't there like the something about white snow? Oh, there's a Jon Snow, but there's like a Snow Clan or something. I've never watched.
You've never seen Game of Thrones, have you?
I saw part of the first episode. And I was like,
Wasn't
I
a
don't know if
fan?
this is for me.
Okay.
There's already 45 characters. I've seen a child die by being pushed out of a window.
Right.
There's a lot
He
going
didn't
on.
die.
Oh, good. He just
Sorry
got
to spoil
paralyzed
it.
from the neck down.
Yep. That's true.
That's like when they say there was a shooting, 6 dead and then 48 injured. I'm like, whoa, hold on. But injured, it's not like they
Right.
sprained an ankle.
Right. That's true.
It's like, well, what's the severity of these injuries? My first untranslatable is Slovenian, and it's Ješel okrog Viciep. I will say, though, what I was impressed with you doing Hungarian untranslatable on the last episode is he did understand you. It took no sort of second saying of it for him
Right.
to be like, oh yeah, I mean you said it wrong, but I understood what you were saying. I found that
Right.
to be very impressive. My Slovenian one, Ješel okrog Viciep, literally means go into the pocket around the ass.
So is it like thinking I'm peeking on you, Jared? Let's see here. Pocket. Is it
don't like
like
it
to beat
cheating.
around the bush? Or
In
is
a
it the
sense.
opposite to be more direct? No.
No,
Okay.
no. If you go into the pocket from the butt, that's not the most direct way. I guess if you're going into a side
Mm-hmm.
pocket. Imagine, obviously.
Is it like a side quest going off on a tangent?
Imagine a little bit. Imagine I'm leaving your place today,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, yeah. So I went to this great apple orchard in Ann Arbor on my way home, and then I stopped at a bowling alley in Brighton, and then I thought I'd swing down. I was here. I thought I'd swing down to Toledo, get some.
A delay?
And then it's like, then I went home, and you're like, wow, you really went into the pocket around your ass to get home.
You took the long way?
There you go.
You took the long
There
way.
you
Okay.
go.
Took the long way. Nice. All right.
Yes.
My next one for you is also Hungarian, and it is, let's see here. Annyit mint halotnak cok, which means it's worth as much as a kiss to a dead person. I guess we got the metal and ominous Hungarian ones today, Jared.
I mean, I imagine that means it's useless.
Yeah, or not worth the effort. Very good, Jared. Yeah.
I think that's so dark. Some people would argue it's useful. Maybe it's useful to
Right.
that person to complete their mourning process.
Maybe.
How dare
Maybe
you.
not.
I get the sentiment though. It isn't untranslatable. You can't take them too literally. My next untranslatable is Spanish, and it's estar en la edad del pavo. I mean, you know what estar means?
To be.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
In the age of the turkey. Oh, okay. Yeah,
To be in the age of the turkey. Is it to have bad luck or good luck?
No. Well, yes. No. Everyone at some point in their life goes through the age of the turkey.
Midlife crisis.
Similar concept, but younger.
Quarter life crisis. Teenage puberty.
There you go.
Puberty,
There you go.
really?
Going through
Oh,
those awkward
wow.
teenage years.
Okay.
So, yeah.
We had them. I had hair down to my shoulders.
hair down to your shoulders. Oh, okay.
My awkward teenage
My
years.
awkward teenage years. What was awkward about my teenage years?
Everything. No, I'm just kidding.
I had braces. I was a braces kid.
Mm.
That's always a little awkward.
It's not that awkward though. I feel like, is it?
I mean, I don't.
Can you talk like this, so Jared, with your braces?
No, I was a little late to the braces game, so I had
Okay.
them for like freshman year of college. I didn't like that, and I guess I was a teenager freshman year of college.
That's true. We were.
So maybe
actually
I-
the first 2 years,
Yeah.
18 and 19.
exactly. And I actually started college when I was 17. Not to brag.
Ooh, not watch out, watch out. I'm not
I am
surprised.
a genius, though.
That is fair. That is fair.
Well,
That's
there's
why.
2 months that I was 17
Right.
before.
That's funny.
All right. Yeah, that's my untranslatable.
All right. I think I might have one more. Let's see. No, I don't. So
Chad,
let's.
how do you feel about your name?
It's funny. I have a love-hate relationship with it. When I was a kid, I really didn't like it because everyone else had a more common name, I guess. You know, John or Michael.
So you wish you had a more
PETA.
common name?
Yeah, at the time. I was the only Chad in my school that I knew of at least until middle school or high school.
See, it's interesting. I totally understand what you're saying right now, but it's interesting that would be something that us as children would seek out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, why do I have to have a weird, different name?
Right.
And it's like, how is it that even gets into our head, you know?
Right. Well, and as I got older, I kind of liked the fact that I had a different name.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
But it has a lot of negative connotations to it.
It does.
You know, and the funny thing is too, it's like it's not really my choice. You know, I could go by a different name, I guess, but it's like, what's the point? You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
what is the point?
Yeah. And there's something. I don't know. I kind of wouldn't have as much respect for you if it bothered you, because it's like you don't understand how a joke works. It's like you just happen to be
Right.
that just happens. It's like a Karen.
Right.
It's like I guess I feel sorry for you for a second, but I can't really.
It's a little funny though, yeah.
But it's like I mean, obviously no one's gonna be like it's not stopping someone from getting a job, you know.
Hopefully not. Yeah. Hopefully.
For the most, I'd imagine. I don't know. I haven't looked at the data,
Right.
but
The data. The data.
You know what actually kind of got me thinking about this topic was
Yeah.
you know,
This one was your idea, so I am actually curious why.
I've been reading this book, Stand from the Big. Battery. I forgot that was on there. Stand from the
Coming in
beginning. I
hot.
can finally show it to you. And the funny thing is, it is still recording. This is the only thing is, like, as I read it, it's like, wow, it's so weird to see like names like Thomas, Richard, Jonathan. You know, some of these just like I can't even think. Robert. It's like these names.
James.
It made me think, like, why are these names the names we're seeking out? Not just because they're all slaveholders and stuff like that. I mean, they are, but it made me almost like, as I was reading that, go even more towards like I find the conforming towards names kind of ridiculous.
Right.
Where it's like, why are we just sticking with these same old 17 names that everyone's just agreed upon as
Well,
the
a lot
quote-unquote
of
normal
them
names?
were biblical. Jacob, Peter, Joshua.
Yeah,
a lot of
that's
them were
true.
biblical.
That's true. That's a good point.
Now, whether or not it's right to do what they did, that's a whole different story.
But that makes perfect
But
sense.
yeah, it's biblical.
Yeah.
But you know what? I also like the whole thing about names, Jared. I really liked, like when I was living in China, my students giving themselves English names.
Yes.
You know, I really liked that. I think it's liberating in a way and kind of cool to name yourself because you perceive yourself differently than other people perceive you. And whether or not you're a Jared or I'm a Chad may not be the way we perceive ourselves.
Sure. That's interesting.
Or
that you bring
perceive
that up.
ourselves in a different cultural context, like speaking English with someone. And I think a lot of Chinese people and a lot of Asian people in general, I think they anglicize or have an anglicized name or use one because a lot of non-Chinese speakers or other Asian languages, they can't pronounce their names.
I agree with you. I understand, and they do it. Well, I had so I went to my high school was they had a boarding school. You didn't have to. I didn't board there, but there was a boarding school, and so we did tend to get a lot of foreign students, a lot from Korea and China, and a lot of them did have some sort of Americanized or Europeanized name that they went by instead of actually their parent given Chinese name. And I had most people just called them whatever Americanized or Europeanized name, whatever that they gave themselves. But I had one teacher that insisted on calling them their Korean or Chinese name or parent given name.
Okay.
And he said he's like it's interesting because I understand where he's coming from, but then I hear where you're coming from. He was saying, like, first of all, your parents gave you those names. I'm not just going to, call you some made up name. But the reason I think he did it is because it's like, I feel like he was coming from a good place. I don't know, because it was more like
I think a lot of people come from
because he's like it felt rude to him just to like use some American name because us Americans are too lazy to try to figure out
That's
how
true.
to actually pronounce a name that seems slightly complex to us.
Right.
And it's like, well, that's your name, and the only reason you're doing that for us, this is how
It's
he
for
felt.
me,
I feel
yeah.
like it's because you feel like you have to be polite for us because we can't handle
Right.
your name. And he's like, no, like this is the name your parents gave you. I'll call you that.
right.
And so in a weird way, I respected it, but then in a weird way, I was like, I mean, they didn't complain. They weren't like, call me the name I give myself.
Right.
They
They just rolled with it.
Yeah. But
That's
I wonder
fair.
if a little part of them, and when I hear that just made me think. I wonder if a little part of them were like, I mean, just you call me the name that I tell you that I give you when you ask
Right.
me what my name is.
Also, isn't it funny though that a name is literally just a sound that we make to get someone's attention?
Yeah.
You know, instead
Yeah.
of saying "Hey you," "Hey guy,"
Mm-hmm.
"Hey bro," "Hey dude," "Hey
Yeah.
man," I say "Hey Jared," and he knows I'm talking to you, Jared.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you say that because, my grandmother, she's old, obviously, and I have one cousin on this side of my family. On this side of my family, I have one cousin, and I have my dad, obviously, and then I have his dad, which is my uncle, and then my grandpa. And all of their names start with D's. They're all DJ. But mine is JJ, or what doesn't matter. But essentially what I'm saying is I've gotten to the point where I respond, when I'm at my grandma's house, I respond to any of their names.
Really?
I mean, because she's old, and it's just like, even though she said Dewey, maybe she means me. There's a chance she means
Right.
me.
I see.
So, like, I don't say, like, yeah, but I'll, like, look up, like did she
mean me?
Is she
Right.
about to cycle through 3 different names before she gets to my name?
Yeah. What's interesting though, too,
But I do
Jared,
too.
Right.
Like, it's not like I don't even want to blame it on old thing. I do it with my friends sometimes.
Right. You do it with me
Like
and Brad
and Chad,
sometimes.
because they
Yep.
rhyme.
Yep.
Sometimes.
Yep. No, Jared, it's because all white people look the same. Come on,
Well,
that's
that
really
too, but
why.
I'm trying to be polite.
Right. It's funny though too about the I really respect that teacher of yours that decided to learn their names, because I really tried when I was in China, but I also had so many students. I mean, I had 2 classes with over 40 students and 1 class with over 60 students. So, right there, just trying to memorize over, 100 and something names. Chinese names that I can't pronounce, and they also don't write the tones, so I don't know how the tones go, and so a lot of them would write an English name, and that would make things a lot easier. But I think if I, like my colleague, my friend Kelly, she speaks Mandarin, so she can say their names.
Yeah.
I think she can read a lot of the characters, so it makes a difference.
It would make me maybe a little self-conscious to be saying their name wrong all the time.
And it could mean something different,
Yeah, that's true. How are you with because it also seems like, at least for a lot of the students, I can't speak for everyone, but a lot of the students I was around, like, it was definitely like a politeness thing where it's like, or maybe even I don't care, but but like, especially when you're dealing with teachers, it's probably just like, listen, I know you're talking to me, just call me whatever you want, kind of thing.
Right.
But how do you feel? How do you handle people getting your name? And obviously, when they don't really read your name and get it wrong, especially in the United States, I'd imagine.
Right.
But like, if someone mishears your name or something, are you good at correcting them?
Sometimes I don't
I'm
know.
terrible at correcting
Yeah,
people.
sometimes
I'll let it go forever. and
I've
just
had
be
a
like,
couple
all right,
Chinese-
Now they think that's my name, so I'll
Right.
stick with it.
Well, I had a
I
couple
went by Jerry for 2 years once with one of my neighbors.
2 years.
Well, she was the first time I met her. She's like, "I'll never forget that. That's my brother's name is Jerry."
Jerry. That's when I'd be like, oh, sorry.
And I'm like, "Well, I'm not gonna live here forever." So
Right.
it's close
Interesting. You're
enough.
always Jerry. I'm gonna start calling you Jerry. Piggybacking on that, Jerry. That's right. Oh, that's funny.
great.
That is too funny. Yeah, I had a couple people in China. I said Chad, and they said chair, and I'm like, Chad, chair. And then
But then how
sometimes
many
I say
times
it's
do you
like
do
chat. 3. Three's my max. I
Chat
think.
is good. That
I'll
makes
say it's
sense.
like chat with a D, and sometimes that'll work.
That does make sense. Relating it to like an English word.
Right.
Yeah.
That's when you say it's like Jerry, but it's Jared.
Yeah.
Boom.
Jart.
Jart.
But a jarret. I could have said that to her,
Right.
but I just let my teacher call me
Jar-
Jart. I
right.
kind of enjoyed it.
It was fun. Good times.
Do you remember popular names when you were in elementary school around our time?
I mean, yeah, you have a lot of like. I feel like there's a lot that have been popular for a long time, like
Sure.
John's,
Yeah.
Mike's, James. James is actually one of the most popular male baby names. Fun fact for you, Jared.
I could imagine that.
William or Bill had lots of Bills or Williams.
But those are sort
Thomas.
of classics. I'm thinking names, and I have some in my head to get us started. And
Okay.
Of maybe names during our time.
Caden.
No, that's a little newer.
Okay.
Eric,
Oh, yep. Lots of Erics. Matt. Kyle. Yep.
Matt is a good one. Although Matt is kind of has some history to it because
Yep.
Matthew is sort of a biblical name.
Yep. Yep.
But Trevor maybe
Trevor.
Tyler. I feel like our
Kevin.
era was sort of the surge of the Tylers.
The Tylers and the Kyles, man.
Kevin might be a little older. Kevin's newer, I would say, but I'd say Kevin might be a little older than us. Obviously,
Okay.
there are Kevins that could be our
Right.
age and stuff. But I wonder if that. I feel like that wasn't like prime our time, you know?
Right.
That's all I can think of off the top of my head. But I'll say, let's go through some current day. I have the list of top 2019 baby names.
Oh, geez.
One
I'm
of my
sure some of these are weird.
Because I feel like what you're saying, like Caden and stuff, might be a little more applicable to today.
Okay,
One of
let's
my
hear 'em.
favorite jokes that I always think of is from Superbad when he's like, why did you choose McLovin for your name?
Right.
Where he's like, I don't want to choose something like weird, and he's like, well, why did you choose a common name like
Right.
John or? I was like, well, technically Muhammad's the most common name.
Right.
He's like, you didn't choose Muhammad.
Right.
Anyway, let's look at some of the top baby names of 2019. Do you want to take some guesses?
2019.
Let's start with boys.
Give me one or two to get my feet wet.
One of them, the top name. No, let's not start with the top. Actually, it's funny that I said one. What do you think is the top name worldwide?
Worldwide?
Yeah.
Muhammad.
Okay, that's number 10 on the list.
That's 10 on the list.
But I think this is in the United States.
Oh, in the U.S., number one. John, James, Jingleheimer Schmidt.
None of those are on the list. You
Interesting.
actually said one of them, I think, earlier.
Trevor, Kyle.
No. See, you got to think younger. Think about, okay, one of them, the top one, used to date Miley
Caden?
Cyrus. There you go. Caden is number 6.
What? Really?
Caden is number 6.
Okay.
And then take off the C, and you got,
Aiden.
that's
Yep.
number 4.
And it's weird. I've seen people spell Aiden all sorts of weird ways.
Yeah, so the number 4 way they spell it, how would you spell it?
Aiden, A-I-D-E-N.
Okay, that's how they
Aiden.
spell it.
Mhm.
But I think it would not be uncommon to see a Y in place of that A, or I mean.
Get that Y out of there. It's not Aiden or Idon. Get that
But
Y
it
out of
wouldn't
there.
surprise me to see that.
Right. Yeah, me
Caden,
either.
how do you think they spelled the Caden then? Because this is probably not how I would think to spell the Caden.
I'm either C-A-D-E-N or C-A-I-D-E-N.
You got it right the first time. My
Right.
guess would be a K,
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
a C.
Caden. C-H?
I
No.
could see a K-A or even a K-A-Y.
Right.
I know you're anti-Y,
Yep.
I've learned.
Yep.
Kaiden, would that be Kaiden to you?
Kaiden, yep.
Okay, think about that.
Kylo is another one that's in popular
Kylo?
one.
Is
No,
what,
I'm just
because
kidding.
of
Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
I bet you
the villain.
Khaleesi's on that list.
Not this year, but
No.
that's probably been on there recently.
Right. I would
in the years
believe it,
past.
'cause
Think
of Game
about
of
though
Thrones.
that's a theme that I'm seeing here. The A.
Elza.
No, but that's probably was previously.
Right.
Think about
Frozen.
that A theme. Caden, Aiden, not necessarily,
Braden, Jaden.
but not they don't have to rhyme.
Layden, Maiden,
Grayson.
Faden. Grayson. Really?
is number 5. That sounds like a country singer's kid.
It does. That's right.
This is Grayson.
Grayson Lee. He's
Lee
going
would
to
be
sing
a
you.
middle name.
He's
I don't
going to
wanna know.
sing you. I lost my pickup truck.
Grayson's my son. I saw. How do you feel about gender reveals? By the way, that fits names.
I think they're kind of goofy.
I think they're dumb too. I saw one on.
Although I'm down for some cake that's either pink or blue. I'm cool with that.
see,
Give me some cake.
Nah, I don't want to sound like a cuckmaster, a snowflake, but I find that whole sort of pink. It's a girl and blue it's a boy kind of ridiculous. And then also I find the whole. I don't know. So the one I saw, I'm a car nerd, and so a lot of my that like
It was a painted pink car.
a lot of that the Explorer page on my Instagram is car related.
Right.
And every now I've seen this before. This isn't the first time I saw it, but it kind of made me mad. The reaction that I saw. But it's they'll do like a burnout, and you could put like some like dust under that'll turn
pink or blue
or blue when you do a burnout, and that's how they'll do a gender reveal. And I always wonder. I was like, I don't understand these people that love their car this much, where they have to incorporate it into every single aspect of their life like this.
But clearly, you're not a race car driver, Jared. Clearly,
if I was a race car driver, that'd be a little different. If I was Lewis Hamilton and I was winning championships, then maybe we could talk.
Right.
But then it was blue when they did this burnout, and then just seeing how excited that dude got kind of made me mad a little bit.
Was it? Did it come out as a boy or a girl?
It was blue, so I imagine it was a boy. Anyone doing a gender reveal, I assume, is conforming. No one's going to be like, well, for us, chartreuse is boy, and magenta is a girl.
I feel like people should just put out purple and confuse people.
I mean, I would kind of like that.
Or
but
red.
See, someone
or
would
put out both colors, blue and pink, red, green. People would be like, "Oh, what is my baby Shrek? What is going on here?"
So yeah, I'm really starting to get sick of gender reveals because I'm like, first of all, I don't like how excited you get, and I don't know. I don't know.
I think some of those, I feel like a hypocrite saying this with someone named Chad, but I feel like some of those Aidens or Cadens or a lot of those
the prototype of these names.
But I'm not a fan of them, man. I don't think I would name my children Aiden or Caden or any of those.
Why not?
I don't know.
I've never heard you have such a strong opinion before.
Yeah, I'm just not into them. I don't know. They're just so like maybe because I have I feel like stereotypically white name. Maybe people are going to hate on me for saying that, but I feel like it's kind of true.
It seems very of the time too.
Right.
Where like that's the first thing you said when I asked you think of a name, even before we spent like even though I think you might have gotten the timing a little wrong on the name, it's still the first sort of generic name you went to.
Right.
And but I'll say this, especially after reading this book, Stand from the Beginning, and learning about history of racism and slavery in the U.S. I'm on page about 180 at this point. It is nice to see less people named essentially, I guess, the same name as just straight up slave owners, even though that connection I know is kind of thin, and it doesn't really bother me to say John or to say hi, my name is James. I'm like, oh, you disgust me.
Right.
But in a weird way, it's like I don't really mind ending the history of or the usage of some of these names if it kind of just falls out of favor. And so
that's
in
not
that
a bad
sense,
thing.
It doesn't bother me, and it also doesn't bother me because. There's obviously the stigma of black names, especially in America, a very legitimate one because there's stories of people saying like, oh, if I can't pronounce the name, I'll just throw out that resume, or it's like,
that's so terrible.
This name means this about you, or this name means this about you. People just automatically assign a personality to someone's name,
which
or
is
something
pretty
like
unfair.
That. Yeah, but so in that sense, I do like. A lot of that is racial. A lot of that is white people being like, "Oh, that's a weird black name." They named their kid that. So I do like to see white people doing the same thing because I think.
Oh, and they do.
They
definitely
do. I mean, everyone does. But I think it only helps to just. I think it helps with the overall destigmatization of names. Because I do find that annoying. And obviously I've probably played into it. You hear some ridiculous name and it makes you giggle or something.
Sure.
Whatever you consider a ridiculous name.
Sometimes it can be a little funny, but,
Like the classic Orangelo or Lamangelo, which is just like naming your kid Lemon Jello or Orange Jello and just putting a weird little, or not weird, but just putting a little accent on it or something like that.
Right.
Stuff like that, sort of your prototypical American stereotype of some sort of ridiculous name. At least here in Michigan, I heard it a lot back in the day.
Right.
And I don't really even have a problem with people, I guess, making fun of names, but I just don't. But I know what that leads to.
Right, and I think people should also be receptive enough that, like, okay, you can giggle, I guess, a little bit, but if you're making jokes, especially to someone's face, and you're actively hurting them, I think it's definitely not a good thing to do.
Yeah. Or you think you're or you're or even like that's maybe another reason why I would respect my teacher, because there's also
Right.
probably people that think they're well-meaning people, but maybe out of fear of hurting someone's feelings, it's like, I don't want to have to be in a situation where I'm going to say this person's name, so
Right.
let me just put this one at the bottom, and if no one else comes up, I'll get to this resume or something.
Right.
Like, I could definitely see that happening, and I've heard, you hear quotes of idiots that don't
Right.
realize they're being recorded or
Yeah.
something, or don't realize how racist that could be.
Right, and that's terrible on so many levels. And I think people should try to make. And right now, actually, to be honest, I'm just going to be blunt and say it. When I say people, I mean white people need to make a better effort trying to learn people's names. I think personally, because I know at least just a lot of the people I've met, I really do try to make an effort when I can.
I would agree with you
yeah.
as far, and I hate to. I never want to try. I guess I'm about to be this person, but I don't want to make a habit of being this person.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely is a white people thing, but I would say it's very much an American thing.
I would agree with you. Yeah.
And I think it's very much in our nature to be like almost make a joke out of getting someone's name wrong, and
Right.
and I think it's also in our nature just in general to not really try things that
Right.
are outside of our culture.
That's true, which is ironic because we do have so many foreign cultures here in the
Sure.
U.S. That's what makes, in my opinion, this one of the greatest countries in the world.
Yeah, but people say that almost like a college
That's
will
true.
put that picture on
That's
there.
true. You're
on
right.
there. It's like
We're
America's a
diverse,
melting-
right?
America's a melting pot. It's like, yeah, that sounds nice to say, but then
What do you do about it?
Right.
That's true.
Exactly.
That is true.
All right, let's go. We actually haven't even gotten. We only have gone through some of the male names.
Let's hear
I at
from-
least want to get to the top one. The top one was Miley Cyrus's, or the brother of Miley Cyrus's ex. I don't remember which one she actually was
Liam?
with. There you go. Is that the one she was with, or was that the brother?
I think Liam. Yeah.
So
Chris
is
is
Liam
the brother. I
Chris
think.
is the Iron Man.
Yeah.
Liam
Thor.
is not.
Thor.
Excuse me.
Whoa, Jared. Watch out. You might be. I was hoping you'd.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was hoping you'd say slipping on gator piss.
Flipping on
I
game.
was
There
going
we go.
to, but I also wanted to go.
Wow, wow.
Right.
But I also wanted you to get your words in. Liam is number one,
Oh,
which is
interesting.
surprising to
Yeah.
me. Liam has such
Because
a
of Liam Neeson. Boom. That's
Yeah,
why.
I'm sure that's-
100%.
I'm sure that's exactly
100%.
who's-
I have a set of skills, Jared. I'm not afraid to use these set of skills.
My little boy was destined to be a murderous, angry guy. For
He was a teacher before he
not know
became
that.
an actor. Yeah, Liam Neeson used to be a teacher.
I
Fun
did not
fact.
know that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah, Liam, interesting.
I can imagine acting and teaching having similarities.
Sure. You got to be an actor a little bit as
Yeah,
a teacher.
you got to sometimes
For sure.
even if you're not in a good mood, it's not. You're just
Oh,
not really a place where you
100%.
can be in a bad mood.
Yeah.
For me, I'm in an office. I can at least sit down and sort of keep to myself.
And sulk.
a little bit. Yeah.
Jon Snow style.
So Liam's number one. Number two is is not a new name,
a
but
variant of Liam is it
no,
Liam?
no. It's not a new. It's not a new name, but it's new to the first name game. It's a very classic American last name, I would
Smith.
say. Not that classic, but close. Think about
Johnson.
Think about some. That's hilarious. Think about some of the early presidents.
Washington.
Andrew.
Johnson.
Nope. Jackson.
Oh, Jackson.
Jackson is number two. Noah,
Oh,
Aiden,
Jackson,
Grayson,
yeah.
Caden, Lucas, Elijah.
Elijah. Okay.
Interesting. Because
How about the
Elijah-
lady names, Jared? Give us some lady
And
names.
Oliver's also on that list
Okay.
too. I kind of like Oliver. But
Oliver's
Oliver
a cute
sounds so
name.
like British. I feel like
Oliver.
Oliver's wearing like a paperboy
You got
hat.
you got to teach them British English when they grow up, so they speak with a British
Have
accent,
some
Jared.
porridge, please,
That's
mother.
right.
It's like,
Mummy,
you're from Michigan. Why do
Mummy.
you talk like that?
why not? That's how I talk.
My name's
it's
Oliver.
Tuesday.
You did this to me.
It's Tuesday.
All right. One of the top girl names, and once
Stephanie.
again, I believe this
Karen.
is in America. No, definitely not. Definitely not. You actually,
I wonder if there's going to be a big drop in the name Karen because of the stigma of Karens.
I'd actually.
I wouldn't name my daughter Karen, would you?
Listen, Chad.
Yes, you would. Okay.
I mean, I'm not really that concerned about having kids in general. So to me, it's like it's a totally hypothetical conversation.
That's fair.
So it's just like, I mean, no, but I'm not naming any kid anything, probably.
Right.
I would venture to bet that Karen was losing favor far before this whole
Interesting,
fiasco
okay.
popped up. I mean, I don't think this whole fiasco is helping, especially because most people naming kids nowadays are growing up obviously in a social media world because they're our
Right.
age. I keep forgetting.
Right.
And now,
Isn't that so weird?
Yeah, I keep forgetting that. I see my friends having.
And we are the age now.
Actually, I'm starting to get to the point where I'm still seeing like friends from our age that are pregnant, and at first when I used to see it, I used to be like, these straight out of college relationships. I'm like, really, right out of college, you're gonna get married and have kids right away? I mean, all right, do you?
Right.
But now I see it and I feel that way immediately. Then I'm like, oh wait, I guess
They have a job
that
and a
was
house,
years
and
ago.
right. They're married.
Yeah. They've
Right.
been together for like 70 years at this. I was like,
Right.
all right, I guess that's what humans
That
do.
is what people do. Yeah.
No, one of the names, I don't know if this was on the podcast or before, I don't remember. But you said you enjoy this name as a woman's name, a female's name, a girl's name. This is a name you like, and you told me this like an hour ago.
We've talked about a lot, Jared.
Well, think about some other popular names, because when I look at this list, I see more names that come to mind as popular people.
Stephanie, Catherine,
No, that's too old.
Natalie,
Natalie's a good one, but it's not on
Agatha,
the list.
Helen,
Yeah, Ruth. No.
Ruth.
Natalie actually is you're close. Now you're not even really close to anyone specifically,
Okay.
but I like where you're going with Natalie.
I'm really curious. What name did I say earlier?
Who were we seeing that? Who's someone said this name? I was here with you. We heard someone say the name. Okay, think of popular names. Who's a popular? Think of a popular. I don't know, Harry Potter characters.
Hermione.
Think of no, but yes, but no.
What do you mean?
What's her real name?
Emma.
That's number 3.
Oh, Emma's a nice name.
Now keep going. And also you know what I also feel when a vibe that I get similarly to a lot of the American, a lot of to the other names? British. I get a very much British vibe from some of these names.
Okay. I know
Emma?
that's supposed to help me, but that doesn't help me.
These are, and I would say these are less, some of these seem less new school to me.
Okay.
Olivia is number 2.
Okay. That's a pretty name.
Sophia is number 1.
I like that one too. I like a lot of the names that end in A.
Oh, interesting.
lady
It's
names
funny
that
that you
end in
say
A.
that, because
Yeah.
you can't bring up the one that you said an hour ago.
Which is what?
Isabella.
Oh yeah, that is a pretty name.
Did you not say that earlier?
I did say that earlier. Yeah.
Who's the one that who's a famous pilot in American history?
Amelia.
There you go. That's number 7.
My cousin's name's Amelia. Fun fact.
Who's a famous? I can think of a couple actresses with this name. One of them. Well, that's a weird
Kate.
way to take it. No, but that's a good guess. Think actresses.
Reese.
No, but I like that name.
Dolly.
I do like and once again, this might show my snowflake nature, but I like a sort of a gender-neutral name like that, like Reese, or like
Ashley.
Yeah,
Kelsey.
I mean,
Technically, those are
I
can be
agree
guys'
with you. I
names.
agree with you, but okay.
Pushing
come on,
it a little. I gotta say.
I mean, I'm not gonna have a problem with
Right.
it, but that's not where I was
What
going.
are other?
with
Yeah.
it.
What are other
Riley.
names? Yeah.
That's number
okay.
9.
I kind of associate that more as a guy's name. I
Well,
guess.
that's number 9 on the top girls list.
Okay, interesting. So apparently I am very wrong.
But
about
you're also
that.
proving
Okay.
my point.
Right. I mean, there is probably a gender bias on some names. That was the interesting thing about living in China is I had no idea what the gender was for most of them.
Yeah, because you have no context for names.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, that's an interesting thing because you can't. It kind of takes a lot of. Even it makes it even more difficult to learn your student's name because at least and now this is very.
You got to put a name to the face, and if you don't even know if it's it's harder to do.
Removing a gender does make it difficult, and you're essentially looking
Right.
at a gendered names as
Right.
as a foreigner looking at names with no context to it.
Right.
Aaliyah, that's
a
I like
pretty
that
name.
name. Also,
That's a pretty name.
very popular singer that died
Rest in
unfortunately.
peace.
Yeah.
Yep. Left eye.
No, that's different. Lisa Left Eye. That's a different
oh yeah,
person.
you're right. You're right.
But also a sad death of
Yeah.
a great singer. Aria, which is an interesting one to me. Aria. That kind of reminds me of like a religious song. Isn't that an aria?
Yeah, or an opera, like a solo part in an opera, an aria. Mhm.
Although it does sound nice. Like it's a
it
nice
does sound
word.
pretty. Yeah.
And Ava.
I like Ava. Although Ava, I think
That's been
to
around
some
for a
people
while.
might also have some negative historical context because of Ava Braun. Mhm.
Yeah. So is that almost like?
I mean, Adolf isn't really a
that's what I was
popular
gonna
name
say.
anymore.
Is naming a girl
Benito
Ava?
from Benito Mussolini.
You don't name people Benito anymore?
Is it popular? I don't know.
I don't know
I mean,
any
these are also
Italians named Benito.
non-American names, though. So we're getting out of our expertise level for
That's
now,
true.
Jared. For now.
One thing that I've noticed about I'd say a good portion of a lot of Americans and a good portion of Westerners in general, the way we do names versus the way a lot of other cultures do names, is that I really like not the idea, but the concept of naming your child after, and once again, a lot of this is very gendered to like naming your daughter after something, or naming your child after something beautiful,
Right.
Like and then being like
Moon?
oh, yeah, for example, yeah, who's Moon?
Or River.
Where'd you get Moon from?
It's I know some people in China named Moon.
Yeah, but that was actually their name, just
Right.
translated directly to Moon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, of course, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, and I like that, and I like that. I like the idea of having some. What the hell is that?
It's a wasp.
Oh wow, that's terrifying.
Yep,
That
it's
looks
a
like
wasp.
a murder hornet.
I've killed a couple inside.
I like the idea of having like it's almost like a tattoo, you know? It's
Right.
like it has some sort of story to it.
True.
And it has to, that is terrifying, that thing. Like I guess I'm not afraid that it's going to come towards us. We've been out here forever.
Coming at you, Jared.
But it is huge and black. And it looks
Whoa,
very
whoa,
menacing.
Jared.
Listen, yeah, you see something black and you just assume it's dangerous. See,
That's right.
listen, and I can admit that was racist, and I'm part of the problem. I think that's a huge step in America right there. But I like the idea of the names having a meaning, and I like the idea of, as a parent, it's like, this is what I want my kid to represent, or this is how I see my kid when they give birth, or when I give birth to them,
Right.
and I see them. It's like, oh, I see a beautiful sun ray or something,
Right.
or
In some cultures, the grandparents actually give the kids either a second name or they name them, which I think is kind of
Okay.
cool.
I let's talk about middle names.
Okay.
I kind of feel middle names are kind of
Very American. Yeah, I think they're an American thing, really.
Sometimes
I
I'm
could
like,
be
I mean,
wrong,
what's the
but-
point? 'Cause even
Although,
me-
then you have South American names where you have the hyphenated last name of your mom and your dad.
Yeah.
And those long names, but
yeah, they have like 4 or 5 names
Right.
normally.
Right.
But that's a little different because I think that's more of a respect to a family thing.
Yeah.
I don't think because you don't like, so I think there's more of a disrespect to leaving out a family's name from your name. For us, I feel like it's a little bit more arbitrary. Like, obviously, a lot of people, when they do middle names like that, I'm sure there's some sort of meaning to it. My middle name is Johan, and
You have a badass middle name. I
it's
like your
actually
middle name.
was my mom's brother's name, and he died at a kind of young age, and so it's more. I imagine. I mean, I guess it's I'm the name. It's like a namesake kind of tribute to him kind of thing. So
Right.
like I do like that there's a story to it, and they didn't just think of something. But as far by useless, I mean, like, even though I have it, it's really my choice at any point in time if I want to write for any sort of passport. If I don't have to put it there, or like applying for a job.
Right.
Like, I guess it's technically my name, but no company or no official document would be like, well, you didn't include your middle name, you're in trouble, or you have to include your middle name. It's more just like,
Right.
I mean, if you want, you can include it.
Exactly. Unless they require it because that's how it's on your passport. Some countries will do that.
I guess so, but
But,
I guess
yeah.
that's all goes back to what decision you make from the beginning.
Right. True. Yeah. Middle names are interesting. Both my older sisters were born in Germany, and we have a same dad, different mom, and their mom and my dad actually didn't give them middle names. So my
Is it
older-
less common in Europe in general?
Yeah, it is.
That's what I thought.
Mhm. Yeah, it is. It definitely is. Well, speaking of names, though, Jared, unless you have anything else to add,
How'd you get your middle name?
well, my mom wanted to name me Alexander. My dad didn't because there's lots of nicknames associated with Alexander. Then they compromised, and it is my middle name.
That's hilarious
Mhm.
because your first name's Chad.
Yep.
Which now, I mean, obviously at the time it wasn't really, but now that's
Right.
kind of a stereotype of a name.
True. True.
You can't avoid it.
Right.
Well,
you really can't.
I'll do you one better.
Mm-hmm.
As far as not one better because this is not an ongoing thing, but I've definitely had my name's. I haven't had any tough times with my name until Subway got into a little
Oh, yep.
into a little public beef
With
their
Jared.
spokesperson being a rampant pedophile.
Yep.
And his name is Jared, and he was super popular. And Subway made him popular.
Yep. Yep.
And definitely when that story was hot for a bit, when I would introduce myself to new people, there would be like a ooh,
Right.
But I mean, it lasted
It
for
fades,
like a
yeah,
year or two
right.
at that.
Well, the year that I think it was, whatever election year it was with Al Gore and George Bush when we were kids, they had what they call the hanging chads.
Oh yes, which destroyed the elections.
Yep. And so I had lots of people make cracks about the hanging chads, and I'm just like, F you people. F you people.
But that's a little different, though.
Right.
I don't know what the Chad usage was, but at least that wasn't a person, That was just
Right.
like a ballot that they
True.
called the Chad.
True.
But anyway, they do just, people are simple. So they hear
Right.
Chad, they see Chad, and they just put those together. So I
Right.
still get it how it could be. But
That's
you
true.
also, the good thing about that was we were too young for kids to be making jokes about that. No kid really knew about
Right.
hanging Chads. Because we were.
Speak for
in
yourself,
elementary
Jared.
school
No, I'm
at
just
that
kidding.
time. Yeah, you were
Speak for
smart
yourself.
kids
That's
making
right.
political jokes.
That's right. Watching The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, if that was even, it was probably on back then.
Chad's about as
yeah.
reliable as a hanging Chad election.
Where's you, boom?
Chad, what are you, an election? I can't rely on you for anything.
Just keep me hanging. Always keep me hanging. That's right. Well, Jared, if you don't have anything else to add about names, I think we should, speaking of names, we should talk about our song of the pod today,
Yeah.
which is by Muluwatu Astake, and the name of the song is Kulan Mankwaleshi, and I'm going to play it on this speaker for now, just so we
Okay.
have some background music, because it's a nice song. We can talk about it a little bit.
Yes.
It's a good one.
I love how we've been finding songs recently because it's way more organic.
Mm-hmm.
Can you turn down a slight bit? Because I like it because the way we've been finding music recently has been way more organic because we record these episodes outside on your back porch, and we record both of them, not obviously, but often we record both of them on the same day, back to back, but we give ourselves a little time in between to hang out, chit-chat normally without microphones in our face, so we just play random music that we find. And so it's way more organic. It's way more like holy crap! I don't realize that. Like, what are we listening to right now? I kind of like this, and that's exactly how this came. And it gave us. We were actually. I'm not gonna say we're against it, but I will say we don't try hard to find words or songs without music, or excuse me, without lyrics.
Right, it's not our goal.
Yes. But this one really caught your eye at first, at least, and then I was like, "Oh
Well,
yeah."
caught my ear, but yeah.
And then I of course. And then I mentioned I was like, it sounds like or maybe you did, I don't remember. Like it sounds like we're in some sort of like a spy movie or some from like the 70s or something. You imagine someone sneaking around. Get Smart or something.
Oh, definitely. I just love all the ornamentation on it. The xylophone, I think that's what that is.
Oh yeah.
For your listening pleasure.
It also kind of watch out knocking your microphone to that thing. It makes a noise when you do that. It also kind of sounds like you're in the grooviest elevator you've ever been in your life. What floor, baby? I love that flute. All right, put your microphone back to your face.
Yes, sir.
No, I'm just.
I'm
saying,
vibing on the
I
song.
know
This
you
song
are.
is great.
I know you are, but we can't play it. We can't sit here and play a song forever. You know.
I mean, we could, but
That's
we
very
won't.
true. I
But
don't
yeah,
wanna
so
do
check that out on our Song of the Pod playlist. The song is called Kulun Mankwaleshi by Muluwatu Astake. So check it out. It's definitely a good one if you need some groovy
You're gonna have to
vibes.
send it to me.
Yeah.
I don't have the song. You
Yeah, I
found
will.
it.
Yep.
Yeah, groovy vibes. I'm sorry. There's no reason for me to
Yeah.
cut you off.
Groovy vibes. So check that out.
Yes.
Well, Jared, to recap today's episode, I think that names are definitely very interesting to see the kind of the history and progression of them. But it is kind of nice to see some new names as well, although those new names do have their own stigmas. I have my own biases towards them.
yeah.
Yeah.
And you're not the only one to joke on the Aiden name. Like that's almost becoming more of a common trope than the Chad joke.
Right.
Is like the
Or
Aiden.
Kyle.
Yeah. Oh, the
The
Kyle's a very
monster
popular one.
punching a hole in your drywall if you're a Kyle.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
that.
Kevins in Germany. Kevins are seen as kind of like
Is that the Kyle
bad
of Germany?
kids. Yeah.
Kevin.
Yeah, there's Kevin. Yeah. It's weird how those connotations and things come up for names, though, Jared.
Yeah, it's probably like one asshole somewhere.
Right. Ruins it for everybody.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Well, thankfully, Jared, you're definitely one of the good Jareds, I would say. I don't know if I'm one of the good Chads, but hey, at least.
I mean, especially compared to.
That's true.
Jared
Subway
Fogle.
Jared. Yeah. Yeah. No, thank you. That's for sure.
If that's the barometer, I'm a saint.
That is true. Well, let us know what names you like at untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com. You can check us out on Instagram, Untranslatable Podcast, for all sorts of clips, pictures of this beautiful background. Oh, good timing. My neighbor is starting the lawnmower, so that's our wrap it up in the background now. So anyway, so follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube as well. You can check out our Song of the Pod by Muluatu Azteque. So check that out, Untranslatable Podcast. And please, 5-star reviews on iTunes and Stitcher. Let us know how we can make this podcast better for you. So as we say here at the Untranslatable Podcast, Dziękujemy, muchas gracias, shisha, and dos vidania. And I think I'm going to play us out today, Jared, with this tune because it's just too groovy.
Okay.
So let's just play us out with this one again. This is a nice one. Good work.
Yeah, dude.
Good timing with the lawnmower, I guess, eh?
Yeah, that was a real. And my video just stopped too. Perfect timing.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Well, cool. This has been fun.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
It's been a good time. Good day. Got
Good
a little
timing,
breeze.
too. I like the early start.
Yeah. What time is it now?
It's 1 o'clock.
Ooh,
Perfect.
Good. That is great. That's
Yeah.
perfect.
I have some leftover pizza that I've been thinking
nice.
about since I woke up. I'm not even gonna
Nice.
lie.
I might have some penne pasta and stuff. Oh, we got to get you those fruit.